In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the top 8 mistakes that I see beginners make entering into the high ticket sales space. Now, just so you listen to what I'm about to tell you, this is the accumulation of the understanding of over 200 clients that I've coached to enter into the high ticket sales space just in the last year. And I've been working in high ticket sales. I've been involved in the space for about 5 and a bit years now. So trust me, I've seen the worst, I've done the worst. I'm here to teach you. I'm here to show you so that you can learn from it and hopefully not make the same mistakes as some clients and, of course, myself along the way. So mistake number 1 is not having patience. You have to understand that your goals are probably going to take a little bit longer than you would actually think. I like to talk about with most of my clients and managing expectations. It's usually going to take, if you want to make 10K a month, which most people do, right? It's the marketable result that everybody kind of sees across the board. If you want to make 10K a month, usually, if you're starting from complete scratch, a very realistic time frame to do so and put yourself in the position to be able to successfully do that is about 6 months to a year. And a lot of people have the wrong expectations coming in this industry. So they come in, they leave, and they're pretty pissed off because they expected they would be a 6-figure closer making 6 figures, multiple 6 figures in their first 1, 2, or 3 months. I've even had to turn away some people who tell me that they wanted to do it a lot faster. And I said, that's great, but you're probably not going to be able to do that with me, right? So I had to say no. But there's going to be so many times where you're going to make mistakes, you're going to have setbacks, and that is all a part of the process. And we need to take into consideration that there's going to be human error in place. So be patient, right? Learning a new skill, making money online is no easy feat, right? Not many people make it to 6 figures. Not many people make it to 10K a month alone. Not many people even make their first dollar online. That is a very difficult challenge to overcome, and I've tried to simplify it the best that I possibly can. So the expectation needs to be that you need to draw out your timeline, think a little bit more longer term, and think a little bit less short term, so that you can actually achieve your goals, because the only thing that's standing between you and getting there ultimately is the quality of your strategy, the amount of effort that you've put in, and most importantly, the amount of time that you've been doing both those things. So make sure that you're just, again, thinking a little bit longer term and not being super impatient, because that's where I see people churn and burn in this industry, expecting that they're going to be a millionaire overnight, okay? Second mistake is having an ego. Now, I see this across the board, typically with younger individuals. I myself, I'm 23 years old at the time of this recording. I'm turning 24 later this year in November. I know, I'm getting old. But what I see with a lot of younger people, mostly younger people, getting into this space, is that they think that they know it all. They think that they know better. They are trying to just use YouTube resources, free resources, or maybe they even have a coach or a mentor, but they just don't fucking listen, right? You can tell I'm a little bit frustrated by that. It's really, really annoying when beginners think they know better than people who've been doing the same thing that they want to be doing or have achieved what they want to achieve, and they've been doing it for a long period duration of time, okay? Listen to the proven constant, listen to the actual person who's achieved what you want to achieve, and put your ego to the side. Understand that you probably don't know what you don't know. Let me repeat that again. You don't know what you don't know. So you are very naive and ignorant and oblivious, right? Even if those words maybe weren't right. I'm not the smartest individual, but anyways. So you may just not understand the problems that are in front of you. And so what I'm saying is, listen to someone who's done what you've done and has achieved what you want to achieve, and just put your ego to the side, right? Understand that there are people who have achieved what you want to achieve, and just follow the process and don't try and reinvent the wheel. And most importantly, put your ego to the side and invest in a mentor and a coach. I wish I did this a lot earlier, and I can tell you, hand on heart, after spending 200K plus in the last 5 years cumulatively on different coaches and different mentors and different masterminds, it's very, very much worth it, and has absolutely changed my life after investing into education. So put your ego to the side, invest in yourself, and follow a proven constant. That's very, very important. Third mistake is what I like to call the founder syndrome. Now, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this because a lot of people don't have the experience who are teaching this, but I've personally experienced this myself. So hopefully I can prevent you from doing the same. What founder syndrome actually is when you get too attached to the founder and you think that they're the only person in the world that is brilliant, that makes all this money, that is a genius, right? You meet your first business owner that you're working with, your first client, they might do six figures, multiple six figures, seven figures, so on, so on. And you think, again, that's the only person that exists out there that actually do these types of things. And if you feel like if you leave them, you never get an opportunity like that again. I can assure you there is unlimited potential. There is a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of capacity to find really, really, really cool people to work with in the space. So don't get too attached to the founder or the business owner that you're working with. Again, I have done this in the past. That's why I know this mistake so well. In fact, probably every single one of these mistakes I've done in the list. But again, just making sure that you are understanding that you're in a performance based industry, you're a commission only sales representative. I want you to ask yourself this question. If you went into hospital tomorrow, would the business owner or the client pay for your hospital bills or pay for you while you are not working? The answer is probably no. And you need to look out for yourself. You need to make sure that you can earn what you want to earn on the accounts that you're working on. You just need to look out for yourself, right? I wish someone had told me this earlier. You need to be ruthless. Yes, you need to build good relationships with people, but you need to be watching out for your own livelihood, your own security, and take risks on you, sometimes not on the business owner, right? Which is really, really key. Fourth mistake is getting super excited and taking the first role that you see. I see this all too commonly with complete beginners, even with the right support. They will just see the first opportunity, someone that maybe makes a few, six figures, multi six figures, seven figures online, and they will just jump at the first opportunity they see. When we do not have options, guys, you have to understand that you're making a decision out of desperation and not abundance. And when we don't have options, we don't have more than one offer on the table, it's hard to often make the best one because you don't actually know what's out there. And so usually what tends to happen is, again, beginners get excited, they take the first opportunity, and they can end up not making money for weeks, months, up to a year because they get indoctrinated into the founder syndrome thing that I spoke about before, and they think the business owner is the only business out there that will be able to fulfill that earning potential. But in reality, that's not the case, right? You need to have the skills and the ability to get multiple opportunities on the table so that you can actually assess and make the best decision for yourself. More than likely, 90% of the time, the first offer, the first opportunity you come across is not going to be the best one. So tying into the first mistake, which is not being patient, take patience with your offer selection process. It is actually more important than you realize. And in my opinion, it's like 70 or 80% of the equation that's actually going to contribute or attribute to making you successful. Mistake number 5 is having an employee mindset in a performance-based industry. All too often, I see a lot of young guys coming in this space as complete beginners with the high ticket closer mindset, right? Show up, take 3 to 5 calls a day, and you're going to be working by the beach and so on and so on. This is what we see in the advertising or marketing, right? If you got 2 thumbs, you got a phone, you can make $300 or $500 a day just typing and sending messages for influencers, business owners, right? This is what we've heard. This is what we hear in marketing, right? And so a lot of people, which is not their fault, they come in the industry with the wrong expectations and the wrong state and frame of mind. And what this does is severely harms your competitive earning potential. Let me explain what I mean by this. This goes from a performance level. This goes from a getting offer acquisition level. This goes from interviewing level. This goes from a screening level. This just really just takes away responsibility, right? Most people, when they get into high ticket sales, they've never worked a commission only or a pay per performance role. And so they're not used, so that they are used to being an employee and not a contractor. And in this case and scenario, you're a contractor. So you are responsible for your results, nobody else. This is why I, in fact, think high ticket sales is the best vehicle, the best model to prepare yourself to run your own business in the future, because it's kind of like the testing grounds. if you will. So not only do we need to take responsibility, but we need to be covering all areas. We need to be thinking like a founder. We need to take responsibility and accountability for how we get our interviews, how well we interview, how we screen opportunities, and how well we perform. Right? We can't project that onto another company. We can't project that on a coach. We can't project that onto somebody else. We need to take responsibility, and we need to be covering all areas. Right? Most people thinking that just getting good at sales is the whole part of the equation. Right? It's just a part of a very big equation. Okay, so make sure that you take into consideration that you need to be thinking like a founder, not an employee, when you enter a commission-based industry. All right, mistake number 6 is thinking that you will figure it out faster than you will, aka what I call the MMO tax, or make money online tax. With any vehicle, any business model that you try, anything that you do, what I've seen historically from myself and people that I've coached in the past is that you have a learning curve, just as you have a learning curve with anything else in life, skills, whatever it is, right? Same thing with high ticket sales. You will make mistakes. You will fuck up. You will have errors, right? This is totally normal and a totally common occurrence. But a lot of people don't factor this in. So this comes back into the patience mistake earlier as before. But again, even if someone is told that it's going to take 6 months to a year, they will then get upset and still expect results really, really quickly, even though the expectation's already been set, right? You think that you'll figure it out faster than you will. You think that you're going to be different than everybody else. Yes, maybe you are. Maybe you get lucky, right? Maybe you have accumulated experience before getting a high ticket sales. I can assure you it's going to take you a lot longer than you actually think it will. And don't get cocky. Don't get overconfident that you're going to figure out things overnight. Again, think longer term, but understand that a lot of beginners really think they're going to crack the code of this a lot sooner than they actually do. Okay. Again, managing expectations is a very big part of this process. That's why most people end up going wrong. That's why a lot of people who work with marketers, aka gurus, right? Could call me a guru, but I like to call them marketers. Again, don't get a lot of results because they have bad expectations and bad fulfillment, right? All right. Mistake number 7 is guaranteed placement is complete BS, right? Every time I speak to a beginner, this is one of the biggest mistakes they make, right? They always end up crawling back to the RSA training program because they realize that they need these skills of networking and off acquisition and screening and, interviewing, screening, networking, these types of skills, right? They realize that they needed that in the first place. The biggest problem I see with beginners falling for guaranteed placement is you think that guaranteed placement means guaranteed income. Guaranteed placement does not in fact mean guaranteed income. You have to understand, as I talk about with all my videos, only 20% of coaching businesses or e-learning businesses last longer than 2 years, right? That's a very, very small statistic, right? That's even lower than the traditional startup statistic, right? And just less than half of them make $1,000 a month or less. That's very high. That's a very significant percentage. And that percentage is only growing further and further and further because you can start a coaching or an e-learning business with a laptop and internet connection. You don't have to have any accreditations. You don't have to have any qualifications. And this means there's a lot of people out there in the market that aren't going to enable you to fulfill your earning potential in this industry. And so what I see is guaranteed placements. What most often people do is they'll charge the business $5,000, $10,000 for coaching, and then they'll also charge a beginner $5,000, $10,000 for coaching, and they'll match up new businesses with new closers, right? This is a combination for chaos, right? This is never going to work, and it's not going to do business well or you well as well. This is typically what I find. Even worse, people can be stuck in pipelines for months, 6 months, right? And you can say, again, that's going to be on the person to train and have the capability to be placed. But at the end of the day, if you are banking on the fact that somebody is going to do the work for you, it's not a good outcome. It's not a good line of thinking. You need to be thinking, how can I learn the skills so I can self-sustain my own job outreach, my own job search, so I can get jobs whenever I want and not depend on any third party. Because even if guaranteed placement does go well, which happens for a very small percentage of people, right? There's very few people out there that can actually deliver on their promises. Trust me, I know, right? I've seen what's out there. I've been in this industry a long time. Even if it were to work, what happens when you lose that company? Because inevitably the coaching business will change, the ads will get banned, fulfillment will get shot, something will happen inevitably to cause that business to shut down or you not be able to sell on it to make money anymore. Remember, 20% of coaching companies last longer than 2 years. So yes, there is increased earning potential, but there's also increase in volatility, right? That is the game that we're playing. The high ticket sales world is what I would say is a wild, wild west. There's not a lot of regulation, right? So again, people can start a business with just a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection. So you need to make sure that you can be self-sustaining in the job search, because again, if you lose that job with that company, do you go and pay the company that you already paid 5 to 10 grand to get placed in another company? It doesn't sound like a very desirable situation to me. And across the board, I haven't found too many people that are successful with that strategy of paying for placement. The last mistake number 8, is when it comes to sales training and the industry as a whole, pick 1 to 2 mentors and listen to them. I see this a lot with younger guys who get swayed to the next high ticket sales trend. It's this, then it's that, then it's this guy, then this guy. There is more sales coaches popping up nowadays than ever before. And the industry has changed a lot since 2 to 3 years ago. 2 to 3 years ago, there was very few people that are actually teaching and coaching and sales training. There was 1 or 2 that I followed, and I still follow to this day, right? I stick to the principles, right? And it's okay to want to listen to different people, but it gets really, really bad when you're trying to implement a Frankenstein of strategies and then wondering why it doesn't work. With sales, with high ticket sales and getting into the industry as a whole, pick 1 or 2 people that you listen to and don't listen to 3, 4, 5 people and try and mix and just confuse yourself and overcomplicate the process. What I find is best is, again, listening to 1 or 2 people and listening to them as principle and shutting everything out. Understand with sales training, it all works. At the end of the day, it all works, right? I'm not biased to any one given way. There's guys out there that say you shouldn't have a script within sales. That's fantastic. I don't sell that way, but I'm sure that they do very well with that. There are guys that rely on just objection handling, right? Maybe that works, maybe it doesn't, right? There are guys that have people who put the price at the top of the call, all this other type of confusing stuff. It all works to certain degrees. Some are more effective than others. So this goes for sales training. This goes for listening to people to get in the high ticket sales space on what to do with job acquisition. These types of things. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't mix. Just focus on 1 to 2 people and then shut out the rest. Don't get distracted with all these little shiny objects that you feel are going to be better. I can guarantee you the grass is not greener on the other side. It is the same everywhere you go, but you're going to play yourself at a massive disadvantage if you try and mix and confuse 5 different pieces of advice and opinions on the one topic. It's just going to stress you out. It's going to leave you broke, and it's going to leave you super, super unhappy and pissed off. I can tell you that for free. So those are the top 8 mistakes that I see beginners make in the high ticket sales space. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you got some value from it. If you want to overcome these mistakes, you want to get a mentor, you want to get a coach, you know where to find me. There's a link down in the bio to go ahead and book a call with me or the team to see if we might be able to help you, just like we have 200 others entering the high ticket sales space in about just over the last year timeframe. Been doing this for a long time, 5 years, and we've got some amazing results, case studies on the channel, so and so. You guys probably know the deal by now. So if you're interested and you want to talk further, book a call, have a chat, and we'll speak very, very soon. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next video.